Hey guys, undead Viking zombie here, and today's video is a little bit more somber, which is unusual for me. I like to keep it upbeat, but I think you have to be living under a rock if you are not aware of the coronavirus and the impact that it's got on our daily lives at the moment. And really, I suppose what I'm trying to do is multitask, which is probably dangerous for a man. I'm trying to hit the shops and get a few bits and pieces that I need, and at the same time just trying to bring you a little bit of an understanding of what we're facing. And yeah, it's quite surreal, really. I think for me, as I'm sure for a lot of people, the mental health aspect is really starting to kick in at the moment. I've now been at home for, I would say, the best part of 3 weeks, and although the lockdown hasn't been on the go for much longer than that, I've been isolating for much longer because of the various health conditions that I've got, which puts me at very high risk. And unfortunately, you know, the government's done a lot to bring in measures to help people like me, but the systems just aren't working at the moment. So we're supposed to be able to get access to emergency supplies, etc. But for some reason I'm just falling through the loop at the moment. So I received a letter from my doctor to tell me to self-isolate for 3 months, which is the initial period. But for some reason the NHS are not picking up on this, and I'm now in a situation where I can't get access to essential supplies online, which forces me to really ignore the advice and to go out and to try and get supplies. And it's not a nice feeling, if I'm honest. And also I think for, I don't know, it's the best part of 3 weeks now, my mental health is really starting to feel it for various reasons. But I think, chief amongst which, you know, when you're stuck in the house and you can't get out, it really starts to send you doolally. You know, you get a bit stir crazy, and you know, I can't really take a chance of going to do exercise outside like other people do, because it puts me at risk. So it's not easy, but you know, I'm sure there's a lot of people that are far worse off than me, and I just hope that everyone is safe. Now, just on the start of this, I want to say a big shout out to everyone on the Indian Motorcycle World channel, specifically Open Road to Chris, who's in Italy, which seems to be having the worst of it at the moment. But also, you know, the guys in America, you know, things are tough everywhere. The UK has missed quite a lot of the issues till now, but I think it's starting to bite as well. So yeah, the toll is definitely climbing, and I think worldwide so far about I think it's 70,000 people have died, or just under, which is absolutely surreal. And you know, spare a thought for people who are losing everything during this. And it is, well, I don't know, it really is a very weird feeling. You know, you've got the haves and the have-nots, and don't get me wrong, I'm not a socialist. I believe in capitalism, but at times like this, where you really feel it. I mean, my entire business and livelihood's been wiped out in, I would say, the space of a week, essentially overnight, and you're left with next to nothing. And unfortunately, I know there's a lot of help out there, but all of my situation falls into in between everything, so I'm not really getting any actual support, which is yeah, well, is what it is. Make the best of it. But I think really what I'm trying to say is that, you know, now's the time to come together, you know, as communities. And it's one of the things that you're seeing. So you are seeing, let's call it, some of the best and the worst of human beings at the moment, which, you know, it's great to see how many people are doing great things, but at the same time, you know, you get people who just don't care for others. And I think, you know, spare a thought for the frontline workers, you know, out there on a daily basis, looking after us, looking out for us. You know, I want to say a big shout out to them. I've started a Facebook group called the London and Home Counties Ride of Remembrance and Respect for NHS and front workers, or frontline workers, because at this point in time, that's what I can do. You know, I can't do much more than that. I wanted to volunteer at the NHS and do my bit, but I've been told to stay at home, which is really frustrating, if I'm honest. I really want to try and do something. But anyway, to get back to that, so I've set up this group to ride and to try and raise awareness and really garner up some support for what I'm hoping will be a COVID-19 recovery charity, so that we can help those who suffered the most during this pandemic recover their lives as much as possible. So if you are listening to this and you're in the area, or you can get in the area, check us out on Facebook, or message me, I'll send you the link. But we really appreciate the support. If you guys can check us out, that'll be great. So another thing that's happening today is it's really sunny, and while still fairly early morning, there's quite a few people around. Now I know I'm out on the bike, and I know some of you might have a few things to say about that, but spare a thought, I've not been outside or going anywhere for nearly 3 weeks, and this is not a joyride. Although I'm enjoying being out on the bike, I'm actually going to get some essential food stuff. So what I'm having to do is carefully negotiate places that are busy and try and find those that are slightly quieter. So I'm heading out to a butchery that's owned by a friend of mine, so that I can try and get some supplies that they prepared for me, and that way I can get in and out, and I don't have to be anywhere near people, I hope anyway. Hopefully it's not too busy yet. But obviously I think the one thing to remember about the UK is that so often, you know, we're all cramped together. It is quite a densely populated country, especially in the area where I am in, just outside of London. It really is densely populated, so, you know, it only takes a few people to make it look busy, even though there's still a lot of people at home. So all I can say is, guys, be sensible. I'm trying to do my best, but like I was saying earlier, I really am starting to feel it mentally. Physically, I've picked up, I don't know, a ridiculous amount of weight because I'm cooped up in my apartment, and you know, the issue with my health is that the more I exercise, you know, especially intensity wise, the more I get sick. And at this point in time, I have to be really careful, because when I exercise, I get sick, and that really puts me at risk, because trying to get help is very, very difficult. And not just that, being honest, and maybe probably a little bit too honest, I'm really scared if I had to go into hospital right now. You know, a friend of mine's brother went into a hospital recently, and for something completely unrelated, and ended up in intensive care with the coronavirus, you know. And it's not something I think I'll be able to survive. Now, I've not heard an update yet to hear back how he's doing, which I'll check a bit later. But you know, this really is devastating at the moment. I mean, the other day I was actually at the point of tears when I was watching some of the programs, especially in Italy. You know, when you're looking at those corridors in hospitals with people busy dying all over the place, and it really is surreal. And I think what really hit home for me, and I'm not criticizing it, I'm just saying this is what happened to me, because I was watching this program and it was absolutely heart-wrenching, you know, seeing people dying. And the program finished, and the first thing that happened is up came this advert with a leading retailer advertising specials on buying TVs. Now, it really just hit me, and sort of the irony is, it's like, you know, whilst all of this stuff is happening around us, sometimes life goes on, and as much as that is distasteful or hurts, it happens. And I'm not trying to say anything other than it really hit home, and I must be honest, I felt guilty about being at home and not being able to help people. You know, it really just is so frustrating for me. I'm one of those people that I'll actually give of myself, and I like to help people. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm pretty sure that there's a whole bunch of people out there who don't specifically like me. I'm not necessarily everyone's cup of tea. I tend to be honest, but there's nothing I wouldn't do for my friends or people that I care about, and I care about my country, and I want to be able to help people. And I know the thing is that you're helping staying at home, but wow, it really does hurt. It really does hurt. It's I've got quite a lot of guilt about it, deep down inside. And I suppose it's what happens with these things. You know, I'm sure everyone's going through their own journey, their own anxieties. The only thing is, I would say, I've got some really strong words I'd like to say to people who aren't respectful of what's going on around them, which you see on a fairly regular basis, and probably will be on the TV at some point later today, because today is meant to be a really fantastic day. But to those people, you know who you are, you know what you're doing. I'm not going to say the words, but you know the words that I'm using. And to everyone else, guys, please stay safe. Make sure you keep that social distancing. Look after the rules. And to my brothers in America, guys, my heart is out with you guys. I know you guys are starting to get hit really hard by this. I hope everything is going to be okay. And to my mate, Open Road to Chris in Italy, mate, you guys have been in lockdown for a little while now. Stay safe, all the best, and hopefully when all of this is over, we can all get together for a ride, which will be awesome. I think that's one of the things that I'd like to do, is set up a ride and you know, go out and celebrate surviving this when the time's right. But until next time, guys, stay safe, and we'll see you soon. Thank you very much.